The one feature that they advertised to me when we went premium was on the next tier of premium that I'm not willing to pay for. And
Well,
that's
you know what Matt Damon says,
each.
Tony?
He says, Matt
Matt
Damon.
He says, "Fortune favors the brave," which I actually don't even think is the quote. I don't think that's right. But also, it's a crypto scam, so
Oh, well.
nothing about it's right.
Yeah,
It's all wrong. All of it's wrong.
The feature was that the audio, they would actually break out the separate tracks of audio, which would have been nice, but I mean, if I ever got around to releasing the audio versions of the podcast,
Sure,
it would make it easier for the editing that I do. I would actually probably do just a little more sound correction on the different tracks, but that would be it.
Gosh, how much does that cost for like those levels of that level of premium?
I don't even remember, honestly.
More premium than premium.
Yeah, because I did like a full year plan the first time I did this, and then I've just stopped paying attention. That's Julie doesn't ask, so I don't bother to look it up.
Good idea.
Yep.
I think years ago when Plex was starting out, they offered like a lifetime purchase. I'm like, oh, I'll probably use this for 2 years. I'll go ahead and do that. That has really paid off over time. Like,
I bet
they have kept developing and getting better and better.
Yeah, this platform has improved since we joined and started using it. It used to be there could only be one host. Now David's a host. I'd have to pay for more than that. You're a co-host on it.
Okay. Sure. Well, I'm not logged in right now. That's why.
Yeah, you're not logged in, so you don't see it. Yeah, but I could make other people hosts, but then I have to like pay more. And
well, that's exciting.
This does exactly what we needed to do.
There's a phase where I was only buying things that were like lifetime certified. Like some website that had like buy only once or something. It was an aggregate of like a bunch of different stuff, right? That you could buy a one of. And so like I bought some for life Doc Martens. And I'm like, oh, great. And yeah, because for a minute they were selling them and they're guaranteed for life. And if they break, they replace them. I'm like, oh, I don't have to worry about shoes ever again. It didn't really work out that way because I had to get different shoes. But like still, like I was like, I'll only buy antique quality furniture. That way I don't have to buy cheap. This is just, I could not actually do these things that seemed like it made sense to me at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. The funny thing is like what I've learned about antique furniture and heirlooms furniture, it's just old.
Yeah.
It's just old, baby.
It's just old. Like a lot of times your ancestors probably weren't that rich to have to buy furniture of quality enough that would last. You know, I mean, it probably lasts a little longer than the stuff nowadays does, but it's not going to last like 80 years. It's just
some of us live in historic homes, Tony.
Yeah, and it's just old.
It's just old. It just means it's old.
It just means it's old. That's
just means it's old.
It looks like those closet doors went on like butter.
They did. It was actually too easy. Yep. Everything I cut right the first time because everything I measured right the first time. The biggest mistake I made was when I trimmed down the bottoms of the doors, I was doing it all horizontal in my basement to keep all the like sawdust out of all the rooms I've just cleaned for the housewarming party.
Sure.
And then but it was horizontal, and the like my basement isn't tall enough for me to stand it up, So like after I cut it, I kept it horizontal, and then when I like got it up to the top of the stairs, I put it vertical, and then I got sawdust all over the goddamn place.
Oh,
That was it. That was the problem.
that's not much of a problem.
Nope.
Yeah, I was wondering about the height of your basement. You posted a picture with the old closet doors, and it was like, boy, I don't know if this is just an illusion of the reflection, or if those ceilings are really that low.
Those ceilings are
Like it looked like, because I mean, like it was looking like it was like right here to you.
yeah.
Like Mitch
Oh yeah.
would have to
Mitch
be
will
like,
not be.
yeah,
Mitch is not going to be able to stay into the basement.
Mitch should be crawling around on his hands and knees.
Oh, this happens.
Yeah.
For those for those people listening, Mitch is a giant.
Yeah,
It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell with this setup, but
Yeah.
it's true.
The face perspective really doesn't give it away.
no. Except that Mitch and I are just a little bit closer. Our face is just bigger. Just fill up more of the screen.
Today, my students, for some reason, wanted to talk about human sexuality instead of the topics we were supposed to, which is fine, which is easy to talk about. But one of the students' questions was, what's the Mile High Club? And so, like, yeah. And so we talked about it. And then they're like, where do you even do that? I'm like, I don't know, the bathroom. And like, how does it work? I'm like, not for me. Like, I can barely fit one of me in there, let alone another person. I touch all 6 planes of the interior surface of that cube. I said, nah, the cheap way to join the Mile High Club is a Greyhound bus to Denver.
I just watched the latest season of Big Mouth.
Oh.
And the Mile High Club gets mentioned in there because they're all doing the there's an episode where they all do the rice puree test, the 100 question to get your score, to see how you score, and you know the the lower you score, the more sexually active you are.
Right.
Well, one of the characters, a little bit of a spoiler here, but Jay has the lowest score. Like, surprise, shock.
Yeah. Right.
He's got a 3. One of the 3 is join the Mile High Club.
Oh, I see. So he's trying to get down to 2.
No, he was trying to get all 3 at once.
Oh,
yeah, it was. What were they?
They were a great plot.
Yeah, they were join the Mile High Club, have an incestuous relationship, and it was something else. So the incestuous relationship was he was bringing one of the other guys there, and he's like, "'Cause you're like a brother to me."
Sure.
We're gonna jerk each other off on the on the water tower.
Water tower.
Love it.
So that's the Mile High Club. Yep.
Yeah, good deal.
Yeah. Otherwise, it was another season of Big Mouth. Though the third episode got me. I laughed a lot at that one. That was the vagina centric episode. The vagina shame episode.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty funny.
I've enjoyed that show several times, but sometimes it's too real. Like the Depression Kitty is a little too real. Like the idea of that soft, warm voice inviting you to comfortably lay in a room, not facing the television.
That's Silk Spectre, baby.
All right. I'm like, oh, that is too much exactly like how that feels in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. All right, let's get this party started.
Hey, I have a question before we begin.
Oh shit.
If I asked you as part of trivia, what is the speed of sound underwater?
Oh.
And I will accept the answer in the unit of meters per second.
Let's see.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess 200,000.
No, that's way high.
Okay.
That
actually showed up to trivia
high.
last night, and this was the shot question, which if whoever gets closest gets a round of shots. And she's like 6.2, and I was like, No, that's way wrong. I don't know what the answer is, but it's not that. Because like gravity acceleration is 9.8, and sound is faster than falling.
Yeah, but
Oh.
not in water.
Oh, meters per second.
I mean, I think it's actually faster in water. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, to break the sound barrier, you have to be going a certain amount of speed, right? And that will be the speed that sound travels through the air.
Right.
So presume like the speed of sound underwater and in air like can't be that much different from each other.
Mm.
I mean, I know the answer is like around 1,500 meters per second. Like I know that's what the answer is.
For what?
But for the speed of sound underwater,
Oh, okay. That it is faster.
it's like 1498 or something like that.
It's much faster.
Anyway, so then we guessed 620 and we got it right, and then we got a round of shots
Nice.
on a
Nice.
Tuesday where I'd already had like 5 beers.
But how far were you from home?
2 blocks.
Well, then
Yeah.
another round of shots.
This is another walking bar. Yeah, something like that.
1480, it looks like.
Mm.
The speed of sound in dry air at 20 degrees Celsius is 343 meters a second.
Gosh, it says the speed in diamond is 12,000 meters per second.
Wow.
That's real conductive.
Mm-hmm. The density.
That
Yeah.
high density, yeah.
No attenuation. Just need to find a big ass diamond. All right. Anyway, we can go ahead and continue.
Hey, this is Tony.
Hey, this is Mitch.
And this is David.
And we are the Backseat Producers. And tonight we are going to talk about Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
The Tale of M'Baku.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I co-sign that.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch, what did you think? High level.
Oh, I loved it. To me, the first Black Panther was my favorite Marvel movie. And I feel like this is a good sequel in that it mirrors the themes from the first one in a way that I enjoyed.
All right. David.
I also really enjoyed this movie. Tony?
I enjoyed this movie, but I felt there were some pacing issues in the midsection when they got real explainy about things.
There was a lot of explainy bits.
Mm-hmm.
It was necessary for the story they were telling. I'm not sure that story was necessary to be told in this movie, but they explained a lot.
It feels like we spent a lot of time with Namor, which is baffling to me that the dude pronounces his name one way and then literally everyone in the movie pronounces it a completely different way.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened there.
He pronounced it in a way that made sense for his accent, and everyone else pronounced it the way you traditionally pronounce it. The comic book version is pretty much what happened. No, that's pretty much what exactly it is.
It's just like in The Expanse when they call it the Rocinante, and it drives me up the fucking wall every time.
Yes.
This TV show is so good. Why did we have to do this?
Yep, Claire, I'm
It's real
with
bad.
you. It did start to drag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
There
when,
was just-
when we started explaining the whole Mayan connection, I did start to check out.
Yeah, there was just like a lot of unnecessary shit with that for stuff that they never did anything with.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, we got a city under the water. We don't want people to find us. And like that's everything we need to know from them.
They literally
at
could have
all.
just called them Atlanteans.
I feel like they changed it because of
They did.
Aquaman.
Well, I guess I felt like it was all to like do this this plot about exploitation and colonizers, right? It's to make them more ally worthy with Wakanda. Like they have a lot of similarities in their story.
Kinda.
Sure. But the dude was so like erratic with the way that he was dealing with like it feels like a 5-minute phone call could have resolved like half this plot, and that shit drives me up the fucking wall.
Mm-hmm.
Oh hey, we have Shuri here. Don't show up. She's fine.
There were a lot of little things like that that didn't make a lot of sense. Like it didn't take me out of the movie, but after the fact, I was thinking about things, and it's like this doesn't make a tremendous amount of sense when they specifically go to the Wakandans and ask, "Hey, can you find the scientists for us who built the machine?"
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Sure." So they find the scientist and they're trying to get her out of the city from the FBI. Not anything other than trying to get her out of the city. The Atlanteans or whatever the underwater Mayans couldn't have known that they didn't intend not to give her to them. They were still just trying to get anywhere out of the city. Near water would have been great. And then they just show up and attack and like, you need to give her to us. It's like, bro, how did you know we weren't going to give her to you?
Yeah. Why did you even ask us to find this chick if you were just gonna show up and get her yourself?
Right.
What is the point of this plot?
Yeah, was the idea that they were tracking the Wakandans somehow, or following them, and like
I
they
don't
only
know why
found
they
her
would.
because they found her? Because otherwise, how'd they know like where to go for that? But that's just what I assumed. That it was a double cross, right? They were
Right. Yeah, it was that was an odd bit of
Mm-hmm.
storytelling that was kind of unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
Like
There
they
was a
could have just been.
movie that I feel like could have been.
I mean, it feels like you do the whole escape, you get out of town, you get in the ship, you start flying over the Atlantic Ocean towards Wakanda, and then have them attack. Like, hey, we noticed that you're not stopping anywhere over the water and you're headed right toward home. Let's take this down a notch. Come visit us now.
I mean, but also it's not like they brought that shell with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Namor rolls it into Wakanda and he's like, "Yeah, blow into this thing, toss it into the water." Like I don't know. Does it work like anywhere in the world? Is this a magic shell? Like have you picked this bank here for a reason? Like it I don't know. There's like a million things that these people don't speak in full complete sentences. Like you just can't assume.
No.
Yeah, so I guess that is my biggest bit. Like the only reason the Wakandans found this person was because of like Everett. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Everett Ross. Yeah. So like how, and so the only way I can come up with how the Telokan found them would be to follow the Wakandans, but I'm not sure how they followed them either. I mean, it's not like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did they swim after the airship or like what was the plan there exactly? Do they all have like vibranium sense? They can just like intuit where it is in the world?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now that they've,
I'm not real sure.
so that's suspicious. But it was a cool chase scene.
It was.
It was a cool chase scene.
And the good battle. They didn't really explain why the Telokan were able to just like stand up after being mortally wounded.
Nope. They just did that.
They just did it.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I get the impression that their powers are similar or comparable to Black Panther's powers. Because they had this herb that mutated them?
The heart-shaped herb.
And like whatever plant they used, which is like some analog to it, are are all these people? Did they just mutate them and then they passed it on genetically, or are they all eating this plant regularly?
No,
He
the
did say
psych-
he was a mutant.
he said
said
he
that.
was a mutant, and so it seemed like it affected him different than the others
Yeah,
because he also didn't get the blue skin. There was it just me, or was it only did they only have blue skin sometimes?
only
They
when they're on
only
the
had blue
surface.
skin. Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah,
Listen,
like there were times
the
when their skin
CGI
wasn't
budget,
blue.
CGI is very expensive, Tony. We learned this in She-Hulk. Should I
But we did get those.
transform off screen?
We did get those ankle wings,
Oh
which
boy.
To be honest with you, that is one of the dumbest things I've seen in the MCU so far.
They
yeah.
had a good sound.
So the funny thing is after the movie, Julie was like, "I saw those ankle wings," and I was like, "Is this Hermes?" And it's like, that's a valid question because I mean we've already established other gods,
Yep.
so that is a completely valid question.
And I mean, they don't say who his father is, right?
Nope.
Sure.
I mean, Zeus did go around banging things, so
Yeah, so maybe Hermes did too.
or maybe it really is Hermes. Maybe he is just a child of Zeus.
Is there a comic book explanation for why he has ankle wings?
Mutant. I don't know.
Is he just a mutant in the comic?
At one point, he was considered Marvel's first mutant.
Okay.
But then they retconned that to be Apocalypse was the first mutant because he was a mutant back in ancient Egypt,
Sure.
or maybe that I don't know.
So in comics, it's not heart-shaped or vibranium-based powers. He's just a mutant.
He's just a mutant. He's a mutant and an Atlantean.
Right.
I mean,
Atlanteans already were a thing.
Yeah, he's genetically an Atlantean.
Yeah, well, they did use the word mutant here, so he might have both things going on.
Mm-hmm.
The ankle wings being the mutant part.
Okay, so the ankle wings were really dumb, but were not my biggest beef with the movie. I think my biggest beef with the movie happens like right at what I consider to be the fight climax, where for some reason Shuri abandons her vengeance thing for seemingly no reason whatsoever. And it is incredibly baffling to me what happens in this 5-minute sequence, where she condemns a large number of Wakandans to die so she can kill this dude, and then inexplicably, with no other kind of stimulus, decides not to do that at the last second. And I don't know what happened. And it's confusing to me because all of the elements for that to work are already in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there just needs to be like one more scene where she realizes that like everything her mom did, like from the moment that dude showed up, was a bad call.
Wasn't that when her mom showed up though?
Yeah, she has like some flashes.
Yeah, I thought she like saw her mom, and her mom was like, "Who are you? Like, what ancestor are you gonna follow, or something?" I don't remember the line, but there was something. I thought it was something like that. I did appreciate that when she took the herb, she saw Killmonger.
Yeah,
that was unexpected, but also kind of perfect. Like, I had heard a rumor that he was going to be back in this, and it was like, what are they going to do? A variant? Like, what are we going to do? How are we going to see him in this? And it was like, oh yeah, that he's an ancestor. Sure, he's a relative who also took it.
Yeah, it's nice to see him again.
Yeah, that's right. I thought it was. Claire says that she asked who Shuri saw in her vision. And I think that was when Shuri was like that was the realization that she was headed down that path. and she might not
But-
want to necessarily head down that path.
But she already knew she was on that path. Because
Right.
that was the path she had
I know.
chosen.
I
Right.
know, but I think this was like the one last chance.
Right.
It's
This was
weak.
like the
It's
last moment, right?
On the cusp of victory, it's time to re-examine all the choices that brought us here.
right.
Well, a whole bunch of people did warn her about like vengeance and like doing this thing, right? She had
Mhm.
this,
I
like,
was there when
okay.
M'Baku spoke.
right, and so when it came to actually doing it, then she maybe really considered it, right? Because when they were just theoretically, I'm going to murder him. Like, yeah, anyone can say that.
It's when you
But when it comes down to
actually
murdering him,
yeah, when you get to the actual murder part, you rethink your choices.
Mm.
From experience.
it seems plausible.
It just felt, I don't know, like bizarrely disjointed with the rest of the movie. And
It
like there
was-
was just no thought whatsoever. Like if she could maybe see that the Wakandans were gonna die and be like, well, this isn't how people lead. Like this is a real Killmonger move here. And maybe I don't want to be that. But you don't have any of that. They're just literally in a desert by themselves. And then
Yeah.
she catches that dude on fire. And then decides not to stab him.
Which is a solid move. I mean,
Mhm.
I did like their whole we're going to dehydrate him, then set him on fire.
Mhm.
I think that herb heals her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to synthesize it for T'Challa at the beginning of the movie because Killmonger burned it all, and that's why I think he died.
Yeah, I was thinking about this too after the fact. There's no way that they could have said that that what T'Challa had was cancer.
Yeah.
Because it would have made the Wakandans monsters for having a literal cure for cancer and then not using it.
I mean, but you don't know what the outreach centers are actually doing in the world. They could be curing cancer.
They could be. But, I mean, he had cancer. When your king has something and dies of it, you're probably not just curing cancer.
Oh, yes. What kind of monster has cures for diseases that they don't give away to everyone?
Right?
Oh.
Us.
Yeah,
That's
us.
Us.
Yeah, we're the only ones allowed to be that bad guy.
Yeah, Joe Biden keeps saying that's not who we are, but I'm pretty sure that's exactly who we are. I'm pretty sure that's who we are very much. So the role of Chadwick Boseman in this movie was like utterly fascinating to me because like the movie is made in the silhouette of that guy, but I think they were real smart not to show him for the majority of the movie. Like I think the funeral was better not having like weird ass clips of CB floating around.
I think they did it the right way with having him be in the Marvel logo and having it just be clips of him in the Marvel logo. That
to silence.
That was great. Like that was kind of perfect. Like it set a great tone. And yeah, it was just a fitting tribute because we weren't going to see him in the movie. They didn't try to do some CGI thing.
Oh, thank Christ.
Yeah. I mean, they could have easily done somebody in a costume getting killed.
Oh, thank Christ I didn't do that.
Nope.
So, but like I know this, and they've done tributes before. Like they did tribute for Stan Lee and everything. But when we do this Thunderbolts movie, are we going to get the all William Hurt trailer?
No, because they're gonna. Well, they might because we're also supposedly gonna have a new Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah, I thought they cast Harrison Ford.
That's the last rumor I had heard. I don't know if that's a real thing or not. I'm kind of okay with Harrison Ford being Thunderbolt Ross.
Sure.
I've also heard a rumor. Is my hot comic book rumor that we're gonna see the president of the United States and it's gonna be him. Harrison Ford's gonna be the fucking president again. And then
Okay.
he's gonna throw you off of his goddamn plane.
Plane.
Tony.
I'll take it. I guess I particularly liked it in this movie that it didn't, I don't know, wedge itself in with other movies very much. Like it was its own self-contained piece.
Oh yeah, I was
It
talking
was-
to Ann about that last night. I was like, yeah, you don't need to know anything about any other movie.
Except it kind of shoots itself in the foot a little bit. It does the TV show funeral thing wrong that TV show funerals often do wrong, which is when characters leave and then somebody dies, you don't see the person who was their best friend who left town to be off the show. Like, why aren't they
Oh.
coming back for the funeral? Why were no Avengers at the funeral? Why wasn't Winter Soldier
Yeah.
at the funeral? Like, of anybody, Winter Soldier should have come back. Like, I mean, and they could have like one-lined that out of the way. But
Mhm.
you know, I heard somebody else complaining. It's like, well, you know, we have this great example of a royal funeral, and you know, why were there no foreign dignitaries? There'd be foreign dignitaries all over this funeral. No, there wouldn't. Not for an isolationist country like Wakanda.
Yeah,
Right.
like how many of the Avengers are actually invited to Wakanda? Because wasn't the Winter Soldier on their shit list for stealing a bunch of vibranium the last time we saw them?
Was he?
I don't actually remember.
I mean,
don't
the
think
Goro
so.
Milaje were hunting his ass down.
Oh, they
in
were hunting
Falcon
for
and
the
Winter
arm.
Shoulder.
They were hunting him for the arm.
Was it the arm? I thought they gave him the arm.
I don't know.
I
Yeah,
don't remember.
I don't remember the plot
remember
of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, it was light. I remember they were there and they were pissed.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I remember.
I remember Bucky dating Sam's sister and Sam being pissed about it, because that was one of the most memorable parts of that series, and it was fantastic.
I forgot that he had a sister.
On the boat?
That's a
He
whole
was
bunch
helping
of
her
things.
fix the boat?
I remember now, but
But you know, there weren't the gratuitous things. I guess we did bring in Riri Williams,
Yes.
right, for Ironheart,
Yep.
which is she's going to get her own thing.
Yeah, she's got a series coming up.
Is it Armor Wars? Is that what they're doing?
They are going to do an Armor Wars movie, but they're going to do an Ironheart TV show, apparently.
Oh, exciting.
Yep.
Still waiting for that Squirrel Girl content. This is fun.
You know,
with Milana Weintraub,
Oh,
the AT&T girl.
oh yeah.
Marvel keeps doing the ball stroke of hinting that somebody could be Reed Richards,
Mm.
and then it's somebody else. Like they did it in WandaVision, where it's like, oh, we know this guy. He's going to be this thing, and it wasn't.
Don't
we have
bring
this-
up WandaVision.
We have this scientist who developed. It's the only scientist that could track vibranium. And it's like, that's a very much Reed Richards kind of thing to do. Yeah, no, it was Riri Williams, which, I mean, it's a good way to do Riri Williams. As we're driving home, I was like, you know, the MCU kind of co-opted the Real Genius plot for the Riri Williams story in Black
Nice.
Panther.
Gotta fill his house with popcorn.
Right?
That movie's fantastic.
That movie is wonderful. It's a moral imperative.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those movies that if it's on at any point, I will just watch it through popcorn completion, just all the way to the end, no matter at what point I am in that movie.
Did wait, but wasn't Reed Richards in Doctor Strange?
He was, but that's not Reed Richards. That's not our Reed Richards, because we don't have a Reed Richards yet.
Oh, okay. That's just some alternate version of Reed Richards.
That's what they keep saying. They're holding all that close to the vest.
Sure,
Alright.
just more comic book bullshit.
Meh, meh. Is Everett Ross related to Thunderbolt Ross?
That's a great question. I do not know the answer to it.
Well, I wish you did, Tony.
Only
We did find out
way.
he's the ex-husband of the Contessa.
Right?
that
Wild.
was an interesting little twist. I did not expect that.
And it was just kind of throwaway.
It was kind of throwaway, and actually, I thought I heard it wrong.
Thaddeus Ross and Everett Ross are not related.
Okay.
The wide world of last names.
Might as well just written it differently. This is fine.
Yep.
Oh well. Yeah, I didn't think there were many like actual plot surprises in this film. Like Claire and Autumn had not expected Namor in any regards, and were totally surprised at there's water people. Like all of that was like a surprise for them. But like the trailers, like I knew it was.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so, but like as far as the plot goes, like it was all real like straightforward, like how they did everything.
So this movie really could have only been one of a couple things by the nature of having Chadwick Boseman die.
Mm-hmm.
Like it had to do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it did the certain things that it had to do really well. Like it had to acknowledge his death. It had to move the mantle of Black Panther. It had to acknowledge various characters' feelings about a family member dying.
Mm-hmm.
And it did all those things really well. I think it did a few extra things that it didn't necessarily need to do for a 2-hour and 40-minute long movie. Like, I don't think we needed as much of an explanation in this movie about the Atlanteans. I think you're better off. You just introduce them and you call them Atlanteans, and then later, if you really wanted it to be a different story, then later you tell a different story. You say, you just assumed we were Atlanteans because we're blue skin and we're underwater. Here's our real story. And you just attack it in that. Like, you don't have to give the origin every time you see the person new. You can wait on an origin. It's okay.
Is this your first comic book movie, Tony?
No, but it's not. It's. I've read a lot of comic books, and sometimes they cock block the origin until the end because they just hold it back, and that's okay. You can do that. I mean, they're mining the comic books for these stories where they want to. They could do that with some of the storytelling too.
I guess the thing that I liked about the backstory for Namor and Telecon was that so the whole idea was that the conquistadors came, they were killing their people, taking their land, like there's the smallpox, and then comes back later to bury his mom and sees it's gotten even worse. And that's why they're going to stay hidden under the sea so that people don't try to exploit them and take their resources.
Sure.
And then people find out they do have resources and want to come and exploit them. But vibranium being the resource, and with the sort of mining rig, the thing they most feared is now happening. And like, that's just it. Like, his fear's not wrong. Like, not at all. Like, Contessa even says it. And she's like, oh, I wish we were the only country with vibranium. Like they do want to take it. Like, at any cost. We even saw it happen to the Wakandans earlier when like French mercenaries were trying to raid a place. Right? And
I mean, later the U.S. is like, let's destabilize Wakanda to steal their fucking vibranium.
Yeah,
no.
Of course we would. Right? That sounds all exactly. That's right in our playbook. And that was the thing I liked about Killmonger, is that, yeah, his plan means that I have to die, but I don't think he's necessarily wrong, right? Like that is, and like it's the same thing with Namor. Like he's not wrong that this is what is happening, and he's trying to get Wakanda to be with him, and like we can defend ourselves with the first strike, and like, ooh, we don't want to. Like, I get it. I'm glad that they didn't win and like burn the world, but also I don't think it was like an incorrect assumption that they were going to be under threat and attack for the resources they had.
I mean, the problem though with like Marvel villains when they get down this track is that like they can't be reasonable all the way. Like, because then they're not the bad guy.
Yeah.
Because like Killmonger was not wrong, which is what made the movie good. But then at the end, they had to make him crazy. And like,
well, doesn't he like kill a woman halfway through?
He
like
does,
his girlfriend?
He kills his girlfriend because she's inconvenient. That's definitely an evil act.
And it's that's the turn where it's like, okay, you're just a murderer. Like,
but he does it for a real dumb reason. It's like, oh, she's standing in front of Claw, and he wants to shoot Claw, so he just kills her to kill Claw. And it's like, this seemed like very unnecessary.
It's what Disney started doing when they started trying to make their villains more reasonable and more thoughtful instead of just being the hand-wringing, I am evil. Like there's a point in The Lion King where Scar like has a point, and then all of a sudden he's just a murderer, and it's like, wait, it didn't have to go there. But it would have been hard to make him the bad guy if he didn't.
Yeah,
like there had to be a thing that this is the line you don't cross, and you cross the line, so now you're a bad guy.
Yeah, it's a comic book movie. I don't need Maleficent from this fucking comic book movie, which I learned in the previews there's going to be a third Maleficent movie.
Really?
What the fuck?
I did not know that.
Cool.
How
that first one was actually really good.
Oh,
I really liked the first one.
I guess that reminds me. Like, how'd you all see this movie? Like, I saw it in 3D.
Oh,
at a regular theater. Oh,
not in 3D.
Well,
I haven't watched a 3D movie in ages.
Oh, I like it for the spectacle, and the spectacles. But it was fun in 3D. But the thing that was best about the 3D was the trailer for the Avatar Book of Water movie.
Oh, come on!
Because there's 3D effects through surface water, and it looked amazing. I'm not excited about the plot of any of these Avatar movies, but they're going to look fantastic.
Okay, and also, by the way, we can't all pretend that calling it the Book of Water isn't co-opting Avatar. Like in any, like it's not co-opting.
That's pretty hilarious, really.
It's fucking obnoxious.
Well,
because he knows that this is gonna be dog shit.
I liked the first movie. I did enjoy it, and
it was bad.
Seeing the movie in 3D is incredible.
Yeah, it looked great. The plot wasn't anything special, right? And I feel like this Book of Water. Well, also they talked about how they were going to have to go to the Northern Water Tribe to fight the human invaders. I do feel like it is going to be a lot of confusion with the various bending avatars.
A lot of sea battles there.
This is going to be great. Like, I think I have so low expectations, except that it's going to look great.
There's just a lot of creepy shit in Avatar that, like, once you start thinking about it at all, is real bad. Like, you know, he hooks into that machine to control the, like, robot android or, like, empty shell avatar Na'vi dude. But then, like, it's implied that the kids in this movie are his kids, right? Like, that's the implication. Okay, so, like, how exactly does that work with the childbearing for the non-real Na'vi person? What exactly is the... Get James Cameron, acclaimed filmmaker, on the line.
Well, pioneering geneticist James Cameron. Yeah, because I think the deal was they're grown, they're like clones, they're biological of human DNA fused with Navi DNA,
What the fuck?
which is how they can
Okay.
broadcast into them through the machine
Sure.
tube.
And so
for
that
some
means that they
reason.
can fuck
They can
and meld
fuck.
genetic material
Mhm.
with additional Navi. All right.
You got it.
They're already half a step there.
I'm gonna be real honest with you. You know James Cameron has a book somewhere where he's outlined how all this works.
Oh yeah. He's got like his own personal Navi porn, I'm sure.
It's written in Navi.
Ugh.
It's written in papyrus font.
It's only got 200 words, and there's 3 words for email.
Yes.
Oh God, Future Man was so good.
Mm-hmm. Every time.
Anna and I finally finished it. Sad day.
Mm-hmm. It's time to start over. It's worth it.
I'm sure there's something else to watch.
Yeah, I saw this in just a standard movie theater.
I went for the 3D. It was fun. I also had a trailer for Quantumania.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which is nice to see.
Yep.
Are we doing Micronauts? Is that what we're doing?
I've been wondering about that.
Because that was one of the comics I read.
I don't know that Marvel has the rights to Micronauts. That's one of those ones that's in this weird. I think it's one of the ones that's in a weird limbo. Like they also don't have Rom the Space Knight, even though they published it. Like there was a couple of different series that they published at the time that actually even crossed over into Marvel. I know Rom was one of them. I think Micronauts was one.
Was it Conan?
Conan was definitely one that they don't own the rights in perpetuity because there's other places have published that, and I think then Marvel got it back. One of the ones that I really enjoyed was called Strike Force Morituri. We Who Are About to Die. It was a fun story, and I really liked the concept.
Nice.
And I would love to see how it. Like, I'd love to see somebody do something with it new. And the idea was there's an alien invasion, and it was completely set separate from everything else. So it didn't cross over with Marvel at all, but Marvel printed it. But the idea was that to fight this alien invasion, some scientists developed a like a super soldier type serum that would give people superpowers, except sometime, I think it was between 12 and 18 months, they would just explode. They would just die violently, randomly, without warning. They would just die. So you got all these amazing superpowers, but you were on a clock. So as they were testing it, they first tested it out on criminals.
Of course.
So then you had all these bad people running around with superpowers, but then they all died. Yeah.
That's wild.
Like it had some good concepts. Like it had some fun ideas that I think somebody could do something with. But it was kind of mired in the 80s comic book of it all.
Fucking comic books.
I love the medium. I think it's a lot of fun.
Well, you know what? You should keep reading them.
I will.
What's our next MCU movie?
Quantumania.
Is it Quantumania?
Yeah, I think it is Quantumania, which is February.
Yep.
All right, I'm excited for that.
Oh, I don't think that's true. I think Guardians of the Galaxy's holiday special is next.
It's not technically a movie, but yeah, it is the next MCU thing.
Don't ask questions if you don't want the answers. I don't know. I'll be excited for Quantumania only because it moves any semblance of a meta plot forward. but also it's going to be an Ant-Man movie, which means it's going to be boring as fuck.
I just want to see if they give Wasp something more to do than agree with men.
I think
I
the
wouldn't count on
spoiler is
it.
that she will not.
She does have a new haircut, though.
Oh,
Finally.
Yeah, it looks like the next release, like theatrical release, is Quantumania, and then Guardians of the Galaxy 3 after that in May.
what's going to be happening in that? Adam Warlock?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then after Guardians is the Marvels in July.
Oh boy.
What Disney Plus shows are we going to get that I can safely ignore?
I don't know. I haven't. I was hoping this thing that I looked up would tell me those.
I got good news, man.
Not so
They have finally found my tipping point with Star Wars shit.
It's too much.
I'm not watching
Andor's
Andor,
fucking amazing.
and I don't
You
feel
can
like
just
I'm
be
missing
wrong
anything.
about that. It's
I don't feel like I'm
wonderful.
missing anything. It's just gonna suck me back into shit I don't care about.
Andor is wonderful.
You're wonderful.
I am.
Looks like Secret Invasion is our next show. There's like more What If.
Perhaps more What If.
Secret Invasion. The second half of What If.
Echo, season 2 of Loki.
Yep.
Ironheart, Agatha, Coven of Chaos, and Daredevil, Born Again.
Let's not forget, in the fall of 2023, we're getting X-Men 97.
Yeah.
What
so weird. Means. It is more episodes of the 90s X-Men cartoon.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I made it a point to go back and rewatch those, and I had to pause about 3.5 seasons in. Man, they are hard to watch.
So good is what I heard.
Nope. I made the right choice the first time, rage quitting like 5 episodes into the.
I love that cartoon, man.
See the problem was I was into the comic books, and I'd read the comic books for years and years by the time that came out, and was like, man, this is just bad. This is just a pale comparison to what the comic books are.
Just gonna get a whole bunch of cereal and like binge watch the show.
Yeah, because like it's what started in like 93.
It was very much a serial and cartoon show for me.
Yep. That intro music was pretty hot.
That intro music is so goddamn good.
Ooh, I also love, I think from around the same era, the Conan the Adventurer cartoon show.
No, I did not watch that one.
Watched a ton of that.
That was I was past my cartoon watching days at that point.
What? I'm still in them.
I got back into them because the only cartoon that I was interested in at the time was like The Simpsons. But that's just because I was an adult. And a lot of the cartoons in the 90s were not for adults. Well, take that back because I also did watch Beavis and Butthead.
Did you watch The Critic?
Television. I watched a little bit of The Critic. It wasn't great.
The Critic was fantastic. I thought it was superior to The Simpsons.
Chocolate spiders don't crawl.
You know what? I didn't watch
like most of America's elite. I worship Penn, the bull god.
I loved The Critic. And Dr. Katz. Sort of Squigglemation.
Yeah, that one wasn't for me.
And Denver the Last Dinosaur.
I was going to mention Denver the Last Dinosaur earlier.
But then your I was like, friend and a whole lot more?
Hey, he is my friend and a whole lot more.
I think it was that one in a block with dino knots or dino saucers or something. It was like some dinosaur aliens that gave power rings to teens to help them interact with Earth.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Talk about watching. Yeah, I watched Dragon Ball Z through high school, Tony. Come home every day from high school and watch, the next episode, the next exciting episode of DBZ. Got through the Cell Saga. You know what I mean.
No. Nope, I don't.
I missed a DBZ.
Well, you guys can just pick up with Naruto.
I don't feel like I missed it.
I gave Tony a 20-minute breakdown of the plot of Naruto and Archon.
Nice.
What when we were really high? I feel like it was. Or maybe I just wished I was then.
I was like, Tony, I'm just going to keep talking. You're like, I'm not listening. I'm like, not
That
a
tracks.
requirement.
That completely tracks. I'm sure it's the exact same thing that happens when I start going on and on and on about comic books here. So
Yeah, when you guys start with the comic book stuff, did you see me grab my phone and take my Scrabble turn?
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I felt like this movie had issues with connecting to the MCU, both in not connecting where it could have and should have, and then connecting in a really weird way because they felt they had to with the whole Contessa thing.
Yeah.
Like, I see why you want to do that, but it's just like this weird, like, why?
Well, and we're in this like weird interstitial where I'm not like they've talked about this meta plot that's coming up, but like I'm still not sure how we're doing it. And
No one
we're
is
like,
proud.
right. And we're building thunderbolts out of TV shows, and I don't know. There's like several things like threading, and I'm never quite sure like where they're going for here. What's just the thing I'm supposed to be caring about? I don't know.
Yeah, it feels very much like the last trilogy of Star Wars movies. Like, we don't really have a destination in mind here. We're just making movies. Which is like weird because it feels like the entire Thanos arc felt pretty tight.
Yeah.
Like, every couple movies, we'd see another Infinity Stone.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody would, jerk off about those for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, it felt like a dude collecting things was a pretty good journey to be on.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bad thing happened when he got them,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I have no fucking idea what they're doing here. Like, the Doctor Strange movie was incomprehensible. It, I think, should mean something to someone, but I can't for the life of me figure out what that would be.
Yeah. Like, I really want somebody competent to do a Doctor Strange movie. If we're going to do another Doctor Strange movie, I would really love someone competent to do it, especially now that we've got Clea. Why am I blanking on her name? Furiosa.
Oh. Charlize.
Yeah. Charlize, thank you. Yeah, we've got her in there now as Clea. And like it would just be really nice to have someone competent tell another good Doctor Strange story. Like I liked the first one. I liked the resolution of the first one. It was different than the rest of the Marvel movies at the time.
It was different. Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we have two competing meta plots going on right now. One with the whole Kang thing that we're going to see play out quite a bit more, I think, in Quantumania. I think that's really going to set the stage for that plot. But then also we've got what appears to be the B plot of getting the Thunderbolts together, which we've already seen that begin. We've already seen Kang too. Phase 4 does feel like it was aimless and maybe on purpose aimless. I don't know. It feels like they were just throwing shit at the wall to see what stuck. And now that they have a clear idea of things that, like, we're going to let a lot of competent people write some shit, and then we're going to just direct it in the way we do and put it out. But then we're going to see which of those ideas we can actually do something with. It's like, all right, this whole playing with time thing is something that never goes bad in storytelling.
Yeah.
So let's do that. And then we're going to make a bunch of bad guys good guys. Sure. Let's go with that.
It just feels very.
I just really
amateur.
hate time travel. I really hate time travel in serialized stories. It's like the minute they introduce the character of Hero in Heroes, I'm like, this is not going to go well. This is just going to be bad. And, to which Julie's like, oh, but he's so sweet. He's such a great guy. He's a neat character. And it's like, it's not going to work. They're going to fuck it up. They're going to break themselves midway through the second season. If they don't do it before then, they're going to do something that irrevocably breaks. They're either going to have to kill him by like the third episode, or you're just going to start breaking rules about time travel. And then why didn't he just fix this?
Yeah.
Why didn't he just time travel and fix this?
Yeah.
Or you come up with really solid rules why he can't.
And then all those rules just feel like a cheat.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the same problem with making a Star Trek transporter. As soon as you make a teleportation device, right, well, you need a million ways for it not to work.
Right.
Yeah, but you could say the same thing about cell phones, though, right?
Well, yeah, but that's a real thing.
I get that that's a real thing, but think about filmmakers in the 60s or whatever. To the filmmakers in the 60s, instant communication, regardless of location, breaks a lot of your plots, right? So, like, it's possible to do these things. Like, we do them now. But, like, it needs to be done better. It needs to be done better than what we're doing.
Yeah, that's why period TV shows and movies sometimes work out for the better, because you have all those artificial limitations that you can't just hand wave. Like, that's not how any of that would work these days. Like all the
we couldn't get a hold of them.
Stuff.
Okay, that's unlikely. Go on.
Yeah. They either get the tech completely wrong. They do it in one way or the other. They very, very seldom get the tech truly correct in most shows, unless they really commit to it, like Mr. Robot.
I did like Mr. Robot.
I did like Mr. Robot.
Oh, wow. Well, I guess I'm looking forward to Quantumania and Secret Invasion. I'm probably on the hook for at least 8 more years of Marvel films.
I'm hoping that they keep disenfranchising me like Star Wars did, and that I'll just slowly drift away. What's the next TV show?
Secret Invasion. It's got
Secret Invasion or What If.
Oh yeah, What If.
It could be one of the two.
Yeah, more.
What If was like hit or miss. I'd probably watch more What If.
It's brief anyway.
Yeah.
Low
it
stakes.
Did give you Party Thor.
It gave me Party Thor, for which I will always be grateful.
And then, are we doing? What are we doing next? Are we doing Weird?
Yeah, but I don't know when.
Yeah,
because you're out next Wednesday, right?
Me?
You, Mitch? Are you?
Next Wednesday's T. Hanks, baby.
Yeah, it's the day before Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, we're doing a dinner thing at Claire's dad's.
That's what I thought. I thought you said something about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if it'll go to 9, but probably.
We can always push.
Well, I mean, the thing with Well, the thing with T. Hanks is that we usually go out to Tony's house and we do like games and drinking and stuff.
Oh, I see.
It's a night of it.
Yeah, it's a
lengthy
whole,
night of it.
It is a whole entire thing.
It's a whole entire thing.
So it's a maybe a come after dinner thing.
Actually, aren't you going to be on the other side of the river?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Wait,
why do I think they
I
live
don't
in
know.
Illinois?
Nah, they live in south of South County. What, Afton? I don't know what's down there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, all right, never mind. I don't know why I thought they lived in Illinois. Maybe I was thinking of Tony. He lives in
Maybe.
Illinois.
I do. It's true.
So maybe the 30th then.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We've got
Okay.
a couple days between there now and then.
Okie dokie.
We will make things happen. But yeah, I do believe our next movie will be weird. And am I remembering right that what was the other one? We had talked about Weird and another movie that were coming out and streaming about the same time. And I don't remember what the other film was.
I also don't remember.
It wasn't.
I was trying to.
Yeah, I thought it was an oddball one too.
Let's see. Figure it out. Okay. There's a list of 2022.
Was it Amsterdam?
Ooh, yeah,
I did want to see that. But
I do want to see that, but I don't think that was it. It was something that's going to be like on Netflix or something. A Unicorn for Christmas? That's not it.
Was it that Santa movie?
Where
Violet Night?
Yeah, sure.
It looks like Amazon Amazon Prime has you can rent Amsterdam for $20 right now.
20, that's a purchase.
That's a rental right now.
Because is it still in theaters?
Yeah. It's not still in theaters, but it's still inside that window. Like they have a short-term window until it goes to the free streaming services. It looks like it might be coming soon to like HBO or Netflix. Let's see. Amsterdam will release on both HBO Max and Disney Plus at the same time, possibly around late November 2022.
Huh. And Disney Plus?
Yeah. It's because they have a 10-year deal. Disney is bound to a 10-year deal that 20th Century Fox and HBO signed in 2012. The deal runs through this year. So HBO/HBO Max has agreed to share co-exclusive rights with Disney Plus. Yeah.
Cool.
It's Glass Onion's also coming out, which
I still need to see the first one. Still haven't seen it.
Oh, I loved Knives Out.
It's been on our list forever. But it was on the list when Holden also wanted to see things when he still lived here. So like it was just scheduling the time that all three of us could sit down and watch a movie together. It just didn't work out.
The accent alone is worth it.
Here's the thing. If we say that this movie is a podcast movie, that's all it takes. Then it's like, well, I guess we have to watch this now, or I'm going to watch it on my own.
Yeah.
It breaks the exclusivity agreements I have to watch movies with my spouse.
We can certainly make Glass Onion a podcast movie, and we probably should spend at least a few minutes. If you didn't do Knives Out on the podcast,
Yeah, we have not.
we'll make it a double header.
Oh,
Yep.
shit, I gotta watch Knives Out again.
That's worth it.
We'll plan that coming up. Let's make those happen. We know Weird's gonna be next though. So
Awesome.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to it.
yep. All right. Let's call it a night unless you guys have anything else to say about Black Panther.
Nope. It was very black.
They were Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what? Wait.
Imperious.
I am calling an audible here. There is something we need to delve into just a little bit deeper.
Mm-hmm.
M'Baku.
Yeah.
You bald-headed demon!
He still had some of the best lines in this movie.
He's so good.
He is.
I read the
And-
trivia that he lobbied for M'Baku to be the villain of this story.
What? Awesome.
No, I kind of absolutely adore that M'Baku is going to be the king of Wakanda.
I mean, the dude is very insightful. He's a good leader.
He is. He was a much better leader than Shuri was.
I do like that she's like, I don't have any interest in doing this.
Yeah.
You should do this. I'm not even going to show up to the ceremony.
Yep. But instead we get T'Challa, son of
Mhm.
T'Challa.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
I mean, all that is seeding that the legacy of the Black Panther stays in the family. That's all that does.
Great.
You know, I really wonder how much hand-wringing they had over making Shuri the Black Panther after Letitia Wright went off the deep end of COVID denying.
Yeah. It's a toughie, right? Because she's such a STEM idol from the movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then in real life.
Right. Yeah, that's a hard disconnect.
Yeah. Well, I like it. And usually Disney's seems pretty severe about you should keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
To their
Yep.
people.
Well, then she supposedly broke an ankle or something, and then they halted production for an incredible amount of time,
Mm-hmm.
2 months or something ridiculous like that.
And there were some rewrites. I'm like,
You almost wonder if that was contractual rewrites. Here's the threat to the contract. We're gonna just rewrite you out of this, or marginalize your role.
because they got rid of that Mandalorian actor.
Gina
Yep.
Carano.
That's the
Mhm.
one. That is the one.
Yep. Yeah.
You
did
mean
not
that-
realize-
Champion of free speech.
Whew. Whew. Well, sometimes the devil just isn't doing well and needs a bunch of advocates.
Yep.
Sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Soul collection is down. Soul inflation is up.
That is, yeah.
And as a wealthy soul capitalist, he's really hurting the most.
That's fair. That's fair.
And he does a lot of soul job creation.
Yeah. I mean, soul profits are the highest they've been ever.
Mm-hmm.
But don't think about that. Inflation's very high. Your family doesn't need to soul eat.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been playing Hades. Speaking of souls,
Hey.
And it's fantastic, isn't it?
it really is. It really
Yep.
is. For the first time last night, I got to the House of Styx. I think that's what it's called, the fourth zone.
Mm-hmm.
So I beat the champions for the first time, and that was really satisfying. Like I walked into the fight with 4 death defies, and I was halfway through my last life when I beat it, and it was like, yeah, I don't even give a fuck if the next thing that walks up kills me. I made it.
Mm-hmm.
It's I do like the way the game scales, like how the first time I beat Megara, like it took me like 4 or 5 times. Then I beat her, and that felt really satisfying. Now it's like just it takes no time at all to just walk through that.
Yep.
It's really satisfying. Like I thought it would be really frustrating. Like the second time I beat her, I was like, there's got to be a way to just like hop zones. Is there a way that I can just fast forward, And I'm like, then I was reading up on it. It's like, well, I guess not. Now it's not that big a deal. The runs take longer, but
they take longer. But but you also get to the point where you're better equipped to make decisions on what like upgrades you get.
Yeah.
And so like what dominates and what doesn't dominate.
Yeah, and I'm to the point now where I'm not even really trying to dominate. I'm trying to collect to get the prophecies, because the rewards for the prophecies are really good. Yeah. So thank you for that recommendation. It's been very worth it.
When you're done with that, if you haven't played Hollow Knight yet, you should play Hollow Knight.
I started it once, and like I didn't get into it because I was playing something else also. But yeah, I'll probably just start that one over because I've got it.
It is a masterpiece of level design. When you've finished it, I'll send you this video where this guy breaks down how like everything is so like perfectly configured. Because like it's not obvious on your first playthrough, but then like once you watch that, you like, oh fuck yeah, all of this.
Cool.
All right.
I'm gonna stop this recording.
All right.
We'll see you guys later.
Bye.